Welcome to my presentation. I'm Vinay Kumar C. The subject Personal Investment Management online classes to second BCom students. Sri Venkataramana Swami College, Bantawal. So last class, dear students, last class we have discussed the information towards a need for investment. Investing means to use our money to make more money. There we are well known about how to utilize our money and when the return is we are expecting. So the saving for retirement, earn higher returns, reach financial goals, support others, and also it is always required for reduce taxable income, etc. The principles of investment that includes liquidity, safety, profitability, and the diversification. So here, the another principles of investment is a tax simplification, rate of return, inflation adjusted returns, and discipline and regularity in investment. So these are the various topics we are discussed in earlier classes. So today we are going to do some problems towards a net adjustment returns after tax and inflation. So this is 4 marks questions you may expect in your examination. So the information is like this: the rate of interest is 12%, inflation is 5%, and tax rate is 20.8%. So now we need to calculate the real rate of return. So as usually the substitution 12 minus 20.8% of 12 minus 5%. So ultimately 9.50, 4 minus 5%, 4.504% is the rate of interest at the time of inflation rate and deduction of inflation rate and tax rate. Okay, so this is the one type of a solution towards a real rate of return. So we are at the end of the first chapter here, and earlier I am saying that the what type of questions we are expecting in this subject. So this is the question paper for 50 marks. So out of 50 marks, the pattern is like this: the first one is for 2 marks, and part B is for 4 marks, and part C is for 8 marks. Okay, now what are those questions we may expect in an examination? The questions like this, note down if it is possible. Maybe give the meaning of the term saving. This is also we are discussed under the earlier classes. And also the second question may be, what do you mean by an investment? And another one, mention any two differences between investment and saving, and then mention any two principles of investment, or give the meaning of the term diversification in investment, and also explain the concept of inflation in investment. So under that you can also you can explain the rate of return in the inflation stage. And the next question may be, why do we need a discipline and regularity in investment? And last question, we may expect, what do you mean by real rate of return? Okay, so what are those questions we may expect for 4 marks or 8 marks? Questions like this: explain the need for investment, and also explain the various principles of investment, and or another problem oriented question: if the rate of return is 12%, comma, tax rate is 20.8%, and inflation rate is 4%, find out the real rate of return. Okay, this type of questions also we are expecting. So solve this problem also for your own, for your own purpose. Another question: is investment a must in everyone's life? If so, why? Okay, these are the various questions we may expect in first chapter. So next we move on to the second chapter, also called as unit 2. Here the investment avenues. The second chapter is, the heading is investment avenues. So are you searching for investment alternatives for parking idle funds? If it is yes, investment in any of the alternatives depends upon the needs and requirements of the investor. So every individual has different needs before investing. These alternatives of investments need to be analyzed in terms of their risk, return, term, convenience, liquidity, etc. So different avenues and the alternatives of investment include the share market, debentures or bonds, money market instruments, mutual funds, life insurance, real estate, precious objects, etc. So these are all are the differentiated based on their different features in terms of risk, return, term, etc. So under this chapter we are going to focus the simple rule that is applicable to the each and every investor, that is, don't invest in avenues that you don't understand. It is a simple sentence, but it is two meanings. So if you doesn't know about derivative, why you are going and investing money in derivatives? If you doesn't know about the forward contract, so is it possible to invest money in forward contract? No, nothing like this. So these are the various avenues. We are familiar with those things like life insurance, real estate, precious objects like gold, silver, diamond. We know these things. So we are paying money and we are buying this precious object. This is one type of investment. But we doesn't know about derivatives. Derivatives, it is also a one type of avenues in investment. So this topic we are going to discuss in next class. Each and every points whatever we are given here, the different avenues like share market, debentures, so money market instruments, life insurance, real estate, precious object, derivatives, non-marketable securities. These are the various avenues in investment. Okay. So anyway, the students, you should also well known about these things, because you are all are the commerce students. If you doesn't know these things, you don't when you are if you want to invest money in shares, what is the basic needs you require? That is a demat account. Okay, compulsory you need to have a bank account. In the first chapter we are discussed for investment what is the stages is required. The first stages is to open the bank account. Yes, we have opened the bank account, we put the money. But if you want to invest in shares, what is required? So in share market compulsory you should require a demat account. Okay, so that demat account that consists to do the business activities like buy and sell of the shares of the company. Okay, there are numbers of shares, the shares like preference shares, non-preferential shares, equity shares, non-equity shares, redeemable debentures, non-redeemable debentures. Like that, there are several alternatives there in avenues. Okay, you should select any one based on your terms like risk, how much risk you are going to take towards the investment. If you want to have an high risk, go and buy equity shares. You should well known about those equity shares. What do you mean by an equity shares? Equity shares are the shares of the company which consists the owners, and also we are saying the owners of the company, those who are buying maximum equity shares. Okay, and you may become the owner of the company. Okay, and you should take the responsibility is also more. How you are going to take the responsibility? So if you are earning a profit in this year 1 lakh rupee, so that 1 lakh rupee first you need to pay for the preference shareholders. Okay, then the debenture holders and others creditors, and finally whatever the amount it is left, that is belongs to the equity shareholders. Okay, that's why it is a more risk, and people they doesn't want to buy the equity shares. They go for preference shares, and also they go for debenture. Why they buy the debentures? Because debentures is an liability to pay the interest regularly. If it is the interest rate is 8%, so you need to pay 8% regularly. Every year you need to pay 8%. So the risk is low in buying debentures, bonds, like that. And also, if you are investing money in banks as a fixed deposit, or the current deposit, or recurring deposit, so the risk is low compared to investing money in shares. Okay, that is important. So risk is one of the features, and also it is a term of it is a term you should always know. Return. So another one term, that is return. So it is also differentiated, that how much return we are going to get when you are investing a money in various avenues. That is also important. Okay, debenture holders, debentures, if you are buying debentures, we are getting 8%. If you are investing money in banks, we are getting 5% interest. If you are investing money in shares and other things, we are getting the interest, that means dividend 12%. So which is best for us? So you select which you want. Okay, and also term is also important. Term means it is a short term period or it is for a long term period. So it depends upon your decision. You need to select any one. Anyway, under this class we have discussed the number of information towards investment avenues. So here only we are discussed the basic things. In next class we are going to discuss the other investment avenues. What are those other investment avenues? So what do you mean by mutual funds? What do you mean by term deposits? What do you mean by insurance policies? What are those retirement plans? And what do you mean by money market instruments? What do you mean by an equity investments? So these are the various avenues that comes under the investment avenues. Okay, anyway we are going to discuss in next class. Thank you very much.